Howdy folks, I'm Scrawny Scalloped Potatoes, skillfully scaling scaly scallywags.
I'm Amber.
And here are more scaly scalawags for us to scale. Don't really know why we're doing this, but I guess we're doing it because we can. Why not? And folks, we have a live stream coming up on Friday, Black Friday. So we hope to see you then. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Throwing Away My Boyfriend's Progress Review on Our Relationship? So I'm a 27-year-old female, and I've been with my boyfriend Mark, a 29-year-old male, for 3 years. We live together in a small apartment, nothing fancy, but it works. Anyways, Mark's always been a bit peculiar about stuff. Like, he folds his socks in these little balls and gets all weird if I don't. Whatever, I deal with it because I love him, you know? But recently, he's been on this kick about optimizing our life, or whatever. He's watched these YouTube dudes who say dumb stuff like your partner should add value to your existence and your relationships are about ROI, or return on investment. And now he thinks he's a genius. So last week, we were eating dinner, and out of nowhere he goes, I think that we need to have a performance review of our relationship. And I'm like, what? He says it's like a job where you check in and see if things are going well or need improvement. I honestly thought that he was joking, so I laughed. Big mistake. He pulls out a folder, a legit actual folder with papers inside of it. This man wrote up a whole list of stuff that I need to improve on, like I'm a bad employee or something like that. He's like, you've been slacking on cooking meals, and I feel like your gym attendance is inconsistent. Also, you don't fold my socks the right way, which shows a lack of attention to detail. I stared at him like he grew a second head. I said, Are you doing a performance review on me? And he's like, Yes, but don't take it personally. It's just about making sure that we're both putting in 100%. So I ask, Where's your performance review? And he blinks at me and says, Well, I don't think that's necessary because I'm already doing a lot. So I snap and I say, Mark, I'm your girlfriend, not your employee. And if you want 100%, then maybe try being a 100% boyfriend first. I grabbed the folder and I threw it in the trash. He got mad at me and said that I was being emotional and not open to constructive criticism. Now he's barely speaking to me and says that I embarrassed him by overreacting. His best friend said that I should have heard him out because it's a unique approach to a relationship. But like, am I crazy here? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. I mean, he is your partner, not your boss. You're supposed to be equals. It's important to have healthy communication in a relationship, but the fact that he's not willing to let you assess his performance and doesn't see the possibility of any shortcomings, like why isn't he folding his own socks? Why isn't he cooking dinner? Why is he trying to dictate your gym attendance?
I think the idea could work in certain areas. Like if two partners were all about helping each other become the best versions of themselves or something like that, and they wanted to sit down and have a time where they kind of talked about the status of the relationship, I don't really think that's a bad idea.
Hmm.
I don't think pulling out a folder and doing like a formal review on your partner is going to go over well in any context.
Right. Well, especially it's like surprising them with that and
Hmm.
then not allowing them any input on your
Yeah.
performance.
So I think that this was really one-sided, where he kind of feels like he has nothing to improve upon. And, you know, that's just not the case. We all have things that we can improve upon, right? There's not a perfect person out there. We all can do a little bit better for ourselves every single day, right? There's small things that we can do to make ourselves the best version of ourselves. And if you think you've run out of things to, improve upon yourself, then maybe start a religion. I don't know.
That's Brian's bad advice.
Well, I mean, like, if you've reached the pinnacle of perfection, then I mean, maybe
Well,
you have
but
some advice to pass on to the rest of
no,
us.
no, maybe go talk to a therapist because you have not reached the pinnacle and you need another perspective.
Maybe, maybe. But I think that OP was right to be upset by this. It feels a lot like the slideshow guy, the
Mm-hmm.
cooking one.
It does. It does have very similar vibes to that.
So I don't blame OP at all for being upset, especially when they were blindsided by this whole performance review.
Well, and again, like, yeah, it was done completely without any discussion beforehand, and she was just supposed to accept it, but was not allowed to offer any, like, feedback. It feels very much like he's the superior in the relationship, and that's not how a partnership should be.
Yeah.
Like, you should be open to your own shortcomings, you know?
Exactly, exactly. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And C&D Sports Fan says, laughing my butt off, another jerk. How are you supposed to react? Submit a PO request for groceries? File a risk assessment on where you store your household cleaners? He should be thankful that he isn't eating through a straw. That's a bold move. That rabbit trail that he's found himself on sounds really problematic. And Cheddar8060 says, Mark, your performance review is an F minus for giving me a performance review, not the jerk. And Cheddar8060 says, edit ad might be different if you approach it another way, such as a relationship check-in where you both could discuss things in a calm, non-accusatory way. But the way that he handled it was brutal. Like, he can do no wrong, and it's fine for him to critique your every move. He sounds very controlling. I feel like he's comfortable enough with you now that he's trying to exert power and control over you, while not doing any internal work on himself. So he's watched a few YouTube videos and now considers himself an expert. He's not. Alright, folks, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk? My wife wants me to set a budget for intimate time as part of her stay-at-home mother role. I'm a 33-year-old male and I'm the breadwinner in our family of four. My wife is a stay-at-home mom and it's a decision that we both agreed on. I take care of everything financially, food, clothes, bills, household needs, etc. The problem is that my wife wants me to set a budget for being intimate with her, meaning she wants to get money for it as she considers it part of her stay-at-home mother duties. Her absurd and unreasonable suggestion, now demand, has caused a huge fight between us. She said that it's her right since she'd work hard all day and take care of the house and the kids, and she has to stay up at night so that we can have intimate time together, and it's exhausting for her and time consuming, as she's put it. I felt extremely upset and disappointed by her behavior, but she says that she's in the right and that I'm being too selfish to see it. She keeps demanding it, but I refuse. Am I the jerk here? All right, folks, what do you think?
I think I need more info. Like, I think probably both people are in the wrong to a degree. Are in the wrong to a degree. It sounds like there's something bigger going on here. It sounds like the wife is feeling overworked and underappreciated. And OP says he covers all the necessities, but is there any money for her to actually do anything she enjoys? And so it could be kind of her way of trying to get a little bit of fun money, which, again, this isn't the right way to go about it. Your relationship should not be transactional in that way. But, if the budget can afford it, it's important for both partners to have a little bit of money so they can do the things they enjoy.
Yeah.
And also, if she's feeling really burned out and overworked, it may be time to address that as well.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that that's really where I was going to go with this as well. I think that there's something deeper going on in this relationship. And I think that this has reached a breaking point and that they should have been discussing these kinds of things beforehand. If OP, I think maybe what she is saying in a very bad way is if OP wants more intimate time, then maybe he should start helping out around the house and alleviating some of those burdens so that she doesn't have to stay up so late, so that she doesn't, feel burnt out, right? So if OP helped her alleviate some of those, stay-at-home mother duties, then it might make her feel like she's more in the mood to be intimate with OP, right? But right now, as it stands, she's viewing this as a very transactional thing, which I think is problematic. I think they would be good. It would be good for both of them to go into counseling and sit and talk about these things because they aren't communicating very well.
Yeah, for sure.
And as for her monetary situation, well, if the budget can afford it, then I think that they both should be getting some kind of free spending money, right?
Absolutely.
And they can set that at a reasonable rate so that they both feel like they are, equal members in the household, able to afford things that they want to afford, right?
Yeah.
Because life, it can be really hard if you don't have the nice to have sometimes.
Yeah, well, and if she feels like she's doing all this work and like never gets to, get her nails done or go on a spa day or anything, and just wants a little bit of fun every now and again, a little bit of relaxation, it's hard. Like if she, work is hard, and if she's working all the time, which it sounds like she is, a stay-at-home mom, like everyone needs breaks. Everyone needs a little bit of joy in their life. And so, as long as the budget can allow it, I think it would be really important, like you said, for both partners to have a little bit of solo money they can do with as they please.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So, anyhow, take care and good luck. And any expression 2246 says, she wants money, send her butt back to work. And OP replies, she never mentioned wanting to go back to work, and if that's what she wants, then she should be honest with me about it. And diverging parallelism says, not the jerk unless she offered you to match the amount. It is, after all, your breadwinner duty to make sure your wife is fulfilled. And OP replies, no, she claimed intimate time was part of her duty as a stay-at-home mom, which is strange because we love each other so much and money has never been an issue in our marriage. I mean, again, this feels more like she feels exhausted from the end of the day and maybe isn't able to articulate that in a healthy way.
Right, and you can love someone and still be exhausted and not in the mood for intimate time. You know, it does not mean your relationship is not loving. It does not mean that your partner does not love you. They may just be burnt out, or, you know, having kids takes a huge toll on some people physically and psychologically.
Yeah, there's clearly some kind of resentment here, right? And I think counseling, therapy, ASAP.
Yeah.
Why are you coming to Reddit when you clearly need couples therapy?
Like, I don't think OP from this post understands the depth of what's going on. And I don't think a lot of the commenters are helping.
No.
Because they're just like, nah, you're not doing nothing wrong, when there's something bigger at play.
And Revolutionary Diet 686 says, not the jerk. Tell her that you need to do some research to see what the going rate for adult workers are in your area. After extensive research, you'll get back to her with a fair figure to pay for her services. And OP replied, sorry, I chuckled when I read your comment, but yeah, it's just absurd. We've been together for 7 years, by the way, so I can't really find the right words to describe her behavior. I mean, that's a little flippant. I felt like their response was a little flippant here. It's not helping to, like you said, move the dialogue forward here. All it's going to do is make OP feel like there's nothing to work on their part.
Right, when there clearly is something, if they want to make the marriage happy for both of them. It seems like they think everything's fine because they're not having issues. Clearly the wife is having a struggle with something and they need to explore that.
All right, folks, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for refusing to help my boyfriend pay his speeding ticket because I warned him about the speed trap? All right, so here's the deal. My boyfriend, Matt, a 27-year-old male, and I, a 26-year-old female, have been together for 3 years. He's great, funny, smart, and usually responsible, except when it comes to driving. Matt thinks that he's the next Formula One champion every time he gets behind the wheel. Last week, we were driving to a friend's house, and I saw a police car parked in one of those sneaky spots where they clock your speed. I told him, hey, slow down, there's a speed trap ahead. What did Matt do? He laughed and said, oh, don't worry, babe, I know how to handle this. And then he sped up. I told him that he was being reckless, but he just smirked and said, they won't catch me. Well, guess what? They caught him. Not 5 minutes later, we were getting pulled over and Matt ends up with a $250 speeding ticket. Now here's where things get dicey. After we get back on the road, at a very legal speed, mind you, Matt says, you'll help me with the ticket, right? I was so shocked that I thought he was joking. I told him, no way, I warned you, you just ignored me. This is 100% on you. Matt got all defensive and said that as his girlfriend, I should have his back and that couples are supposed to support each other in tough situations. I told him that support doesn't mean bailing him out when he's being an idiot. Since then, it's been tense. He keeps bringing it up, saying that I'm being selfish and unsupportive. He even told his mom, and now she's involved. She called me and said that I should help because it's just money and that relationships are about compromise. I tried explaining that it's not about the money, it's about the principle. I warned him, he ignored me. He has the means to pay the ticket himself, but he wants me to help as some sort of weird gesture of loyalty. To make matters worse, a couple of our friends are taking his side, saying things like, it's not a big deal to split it, and you're making it about pride. But am I? It feels like a natural consequence of his actions. And if I bail him out, I'm just enabling his bad decisions. Matt hasn't stopped sulking about this, and now I'm wondering if I'm being too stubborn. Am I the jerk for standing my ground and refusing to help pay the ticket, or am I being unreasonable? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, definitely not the jerk here. I mean, he ignored your warning and decided to speed up at a speed trap. Like, this is the logical consequence of his action. And you're right. If you bail him out now, like, I think he kind of wants that to like admit that he did nothing wrong and like, oh, you're in this together. It's all okay. This isn't okay. He should not be recklessly speeding and endangering your lives. And honestly, I would reevaluate this relationship potentially based on the way he's acting right now and dragging his mom into
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. All I can say is he had it coming. He only has himself to blame.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you know, having a disagreement about whether she should pay the ticket is one thing. Dragging their mother into this situation is a giant red flag because this is a relatively minor thing in a relationship, right? What other larger things is he going to drag his mother into?
Right. I mean, anytime someone starts bringing the parents in, there's got to be a pretty darn good reason for it.
Hmm.
And bring the mom in because she won't help pay my speeding ticket
That I
that I
deserved. Yeah.
deserved, yeah, is not it.
Yeah, so that's all I can say is that maybe OP should reconsider uh this relationship. Maybe she should speed out of this relationship
Yes,
because I mean, I think that there's going to be another speed trap ahead.
for sure. Well, and not to mention too, like if he's not willing to listen to you, like if you're uncomfortable with how fast he's going, that's not good either.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Extinct Diplodocus says, sure, I'll pay half of your speeding ticket. It's important that I encourage you to speed. Sarcasm. Not the jerk, what kind of person speeds up when he sees there's a police car that he's warned about and a speed trap? That's a rhetorical question because the answer is too obvious. He's really lucky that all he got was a ticket. Fleeing from the police at high speeds is a felony. If he robs a bank, are you still supposed to support him because you're his girlfriend? Are you supposed to reward him and subsidize him for reckless behavior? This calls for some real thought about what he sees as your responsibilities simply because you're his girlfriend.
Well, and there's a time and place for standing by your partner too. And this is not one of them. Like when your partner does something reckless and dangerous, it's important that they understand that what they've done is not okay.
Yeah. Bad username this is says, not the jerk. The point of a fine is a penalty for your actions. He sped up and put you in a police chase, and you're supposed to support that. Reckless driving puts you in danger, an animal jumps out, an oil slick on the road, could be anything. He sounds amazingly immature. Actions have consequences, and the only way that he'll learn is the hard way. Pain creates change, and his wallet needs to be pained. I would be livid if my partner put me in this position. Why aren't you? All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. And Amber, she has a joke.
Have you ever traveled on a flying carpet? It is such a rugged experience.
It is. I have had many experiences on a flying carpet. And I have the special guest tea. Matcha again. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Spectacular Saturday, folks. I hope your Saturday is off to a spectacular start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it in the form of a performance review.
Progress report for OP's boyfriend in story 1. Needs serious improvement in listening, ego, among other things.
Yes, yes. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.